Gage here, Global Combat News. I'm here to give you a little betting breakdown of today's UFC pay-per-view, UFC 315. I'm going to give you 4 upset picks you might want to look into making, as well as my lock of the card, so stay tuned. First upset pick you're going to want to look into making is Bruno Silva over Marc-Andre Burley. Both of these guys are on losing streaks at this point. Burley on a 3-fight losing streak, Silva on a 4-fight losing streak. I believe the line right now is Burley closing at something like a minus 150 favorite. This fight pretty much boils down to preference on the picks. I think Silva has fought way stiffer competition in his career. Both these men are 35, probably on the way out, definitely past their prime. If I were to say at their best, I think Silva is better everywhere. The only question is, will he show up in this fight and be better? This is pretty much what I would call a pick'em fight. Both these guys are on long losing streaks, both ranked around the same spot, both around the same age. It really just comes down to preference on who you think is going to win, and I think Bruno Silva gets it done. So if you're looking to place a bet on a plus 125 slight underdog, look into making that bet Bruno Silva over Marc-Andre Burley. Next upset pick you're going to want to look into making is Jessica Andrade over Jasmine Jasudavicius. Jasudavicius is on a 4-fight winning streak right now, and she's looked very impressive. She has very good jiu-jitsu. She's a sub-threat pretty much anywhere the fight goes. Everyone knows about Jessica Andrade, former champion, probably the most knockouts in the smaller weight classes for a woman in UFC history, if I were to guess. She has crazy power. She is coming off of a loss, but at the line plus 260 for the type of underdog you're going to get with the quality that Jessica Andrade is, I would say there's no reason not to place this bet. I do have Jasudavicius winning in my straight picks. If I were to guess, if Andrade does get it done, she probably pulls a KO out at some point in the fight, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit. So if you're looking at a decent sized underdog in Jessica Andrade at a plus 260, that's definitely something that you want to look into making for your second upset pick of the card. Third upset pick you're going to want to look into making on the card is Charles Radtke over Mike Malott. I believe the line right now is something like Radtke closing as a plus 135 underdog. I think this fight is closer to a pick'em. These are two up-and-coming welterweight prospects, both coming off of a win. It's really all about styles in this one. I think if Radtke can keep the fight on the feet and keep it at a distance, he'll eventually find that KO shot that will put Malott out. But if this fight goes to the mat, I think that at any point Malott is a sub-threat. He is very dangerous. He's a very good grappler. His striking is coming along, so we'll see. I definitely think the line plus 135 for Radtke is good money. I have him by 3rd round KO TKO in my straight picks. This fight's, like I said, closer to a pick'em in my eyes. So if you want to get some very smart money, definitely look at making that bet Charles Radtke over Mike Malott. And last but not least, the final upset you're going to want to look into making goes down at tonight's co-main event between Valentina Shevchenko and Manon Fiorot. Fiorot is the clear-cut #1 contender in the division. She's coming off of a dominant win over Erin Blanchfield, where she looked to have the clear-cut size and strength advantage. Was pretty much too much for Blanchfield to handle. Everyone knows about Valentina Shevchenko. She's one of the greatest fighters in women's mixed martial arts history. She's coming off of a trilogy with Alexa Grasso where it was 1-1-1, but most people generally believe that Shevchenko won the draw and then won the last fight. So realistically, she should be on a 2-fight winning streak. Some people think she might be a little over the hill, and that might be the reason for this line. It's almost close to an even line when I would think that Shevchenko would be the favorite. She's looked very impressive in her last 2 performances, and overall in her UFC career, she's looked pretty much dominant at 125. Stylistically, I think she's quicker than Fiorot on the feet. She moves a little bit better, and I just think that Throat is a little too slow for my liking. I think she has trouble finding Shevchenko on the feet, and I doubt that she has the ability to just hold Valentina down for 5 rounds. So if you're looking at making a smart bet on a defending champion and one of the greatest fighters in the history of the sport, look into taking Valentina Shevchenko. I believe the line is closing at something close to near even, but you might be able to get it in there while she's the underdog. Valentina Shevchenko by decision over Manat Throat. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, my one lock of the card goes down on the first main card bout of tonight's pay-per-view and the 155-pound division between Benoit Saint-Denis and Kyle Propolak. Propolak is actually a former UFC fighter. He went 0-2, I believe, in his first stint in the promotion back in 2019, lost both of his fights by decision. He's won 4 out of his last 5, I believe, and he's Canadian, so that it would explain the short notice opportunity against Saint Denis. I can't remember who Saint Denis' opponent was, but this was definitely not his original scheduled bout for this card. Saint Denis, of course, is one of the most exciting fighters in the 155-pound division. He is riding a 2-fight skid, but that was at the tippy top of the lightweight division. He got thrown to the wolves after a few impressive performances, and I think this is a drastic drop down in competition that would explain why he is closing as a massive minus 1,115 favorite. So there's not much reason to bet on Saint Denis unless you just need a lock for a parlay or just looking for a for sure guaranteed bet that's going to get it done, because I don't see this fight going outside of 2 rounds. I think within the second round, Saint Denis finds the kill shot and puts Kyle Propolak out. And so if you're looking for a lock on the card, look into making Benoit Saint Denis over Kyle Propolak.